welcome to Soft Serve Science, where you can get the scoop on the science of us. My name is Lily. I have a bachelor's in sociology.
My name is Eliza. I have a master's in clinical psychology.
We read excerpts. We are not experts. So, what's the scoop?
Okay, so what do Fleetwood Mac, Van Halen, and the Cranberries all have in common?
They play them on the classic rock stations?
Absolutely. They all have songs about dreams.
Oh, that's right. There is that Van Halen song. Do you want to sing a little of it for us?
Absolutely not. No, not entirely. But our episode today is about dreams.
Oh, cool.
The episode about Van Halen is on its way. So a dream is sensational or emotional content that involuntarily occurs during sleep. Now, when I say sensational, I don't mean like sensational. I mean like it uses the five senses. 80% of dreams occur during REM or rapid eye movement sleep stages. REM sleep is where it's the deepest level of sleep and your eyes rapidly move around back and forth. There are dreams during non-REM stages of sleep, but they're a bit more mundane and unremarkable.
Really? So you dream throughout the night, too?
Mm-hmm. But
oh, I guess, like, when you have those dreams when you're falling asleep, where you fall, and it wakes you up?
No.
You don't get those?
Yes. Yes, I do, where your whole body, like, jerks.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. It's like, ah!
I read that that's because your body thinks it's dying, because everything shuts down and relaxes. I don't know if that's true, but
I don't know either. Yeah, dreams during non-REM stages of sleep are a bit more like just conversations, walking around, not very exciting, whereas dreams during rapid eye movement stages of sleep are a lot more like fantastical and strange and vivid.
I see.
They know this because they wake people up during non-REM stages of sleep and they ask them, what were you dreaming about? And they're like, oh, I was flipping pancakes and then the pancakes were flipped.
You'd be so mad to be in one of those studies.
Absolutely.
Waking you up is a nightmare.
Yeah. It's really unpleasant. Brain activity during the REM stage of sleep is very similar to brain activity while you are awake.
Is that why I wake up feeling so tired all the time?
Maybe. I've definitely woken up from dreams that were really, like, intense and vivid, and I wake up just disoriented and exhausted. There's this thing called REM atonia, which is where your motor neurons are inhibited, so that way the body does not move while it is dreaming.
That's what causes sleep paralysis, right?
Yes, sleep paralysis happens when the atonia is still happening, even though the body wakes up. Or the brain wakes up, but the body is still frozen.
That's so scary.
Have you ever had sleep paralysis?
I think once. Oh, no. I haven't. I was thinking of lucid dreams.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Great.
Do you remember that one time I fell asleep and my head was in your lap on the couch? And I had sleep paralysis and I couldn't move, but I was awake and I just kept, like, grunting.
Yeah, oh gosh, that was so scary.
And I could hear you being, like, distressed, but I couldn't talk. I could just make these, like, noises.
Yeah, oh man.
Oh my god. So yeah, if you have an episode of sleep paralysis, don't open your eyes because your brain will try to make some kind of logical conclusion for why you can't move. And a lot of people report hallucinations or scary imagery if they open their eyes during a bout of sleep paralysis. I've also experienced that. If you are in sleep paralysis, the way to get out of it is to move a small part of your body, such as the pinky finger, and then all the fingers, and then the hands, until you can eventually move your entire body again.
Just like in Kill Bill.
Yeah!
I mean, she's fully awake, but you know.
Most dreams are 5 to 20 minutes, but they can feel longer due to the way that time is distorted within dreams. Dreams are, you're gonna love this word, phantasmagoric.
Phantasmagoric?
Yes. It means that locations, people, concepts often blend in a way that they would not when you are awake.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
The average person spends 6 years of their life dreaming. The average person dreams about 2 hours per night, about 4 to 7 dreams per night. Within 10 minutes of waking up, 90% of your dream is forgotten because the brain does not commit it to long-term memory.
Thank goodness.
Negative emotions are more common in dreams than positive emotions, and the most common emotion during a dream is anxiety.
Oh! Yeah, like when I'm late for work, but I'm 3 hours away because I'm at my mom's house, and also I have a paper due at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I also have nightmares about being late for something.
Yeah.
It's really something. We'll also get to recurring dreams. A newborn spends more than 80% of their sleep time in REM sleep, developing their brain and such.
What do you think they dream about?
It is unknown if infants dream because most dream studies require verbal reporting. And since infants are normally really tight-lipped, they don't share what they're dreaming about, so we're not sure if they dream. It could be that their brains are not developed enough to dream. It could be that they do dream. I'm sure that if mothers are listening to this, they'll be like, oh yeah, my infant dreams. I can tell. But like, we have no way of knowing for sure.
So you're not dreaming the whole time you're in REM sleep?
No.
Then why do my eyes keep moving?
I don't know.
Fair enough.
People who are blind from birth do not have visual dreams. Their dreams center around the other senses. Their eyes still move during REM sleep, though.
Wow. The other senses. Have you ever smelled something in a dream?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever smelled anything in a dream either. I know I've tasted things, like when you eat something in a dream and it tastes like that.
Yeah, I think for me, my dreams are mostly visual, audio, the sensations of my body.
Oh, the sensations of the body. Is this where we talk about the nightmare bathroom?
I was actually going to talk about nocturnal emissions.
Like, like when you... Is that the scientific term for
Wet
it?
dreams, baby!
Oh my god, is that the scientific term for it?
Nocturnal emissions, yeah.
Oh my god.
Only about 8% of dreams are sexual, and that's across men, women, and the non-binary.
For them.
Erections of penile or clitoral tissue are really common during REM sleep. Can happen every night.
Isn't it because during REM sleep your body's kind of just checking that all systems are a go?
It's a great theory.
Or maybe we just get real horny from that good sleep.
Erections during sleep can last for 1 to 3.5 hours.
But if they last longer than 4 hours...
Call a doctor? Yeah, I thought the same thing. This is something that's observed in humans in sleep studies and in rats in sleep studies.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I want to talk to someone whose job it is to watch a rat's penis while it sleeps. What a job. There's one more job that I'm glad is not my job.
70% of the characters in men's dreams are men, and women dream of 50-50 men and women.
Is it true that every face we see in a dream is a face we've already seen?
Yeah, it is.
How do they find that out?
I don't know.
That seems like a difficult thing to measure.
I don't know. Yeah.
Especially because the human face is so good at seeing faces in things. The human brain is so good at seeing faces in things, not the human face.
Mm-hmm. Dreams intensify throughout the night. The dream closest to waking is the most vivid.
That makes sense. Is it because you're settling in to it farther? Or is it because that's when you remember the most?
Probably not that, because during sleep studies they wake people up at different stages of the night, so probably they've observed it. Waking people up in early sleep is more mundane, and waking people up in late sleep is more vivid.
Ah.
But that's a good theory. The mind is hyper-associative following REM sleep. In other words, it's more creative. That's because there are increased neocortex connections and inhibited hippocampus connections, which means that the brain is more easily able to make new conclusions instead of relying on the hippocampus to give it conclusions that it's already had.
I love the word hippocampus.
I know. Doesn't it always make you think of a hippo?
A hippo at school.
Aww. A hippo with a degree. An educated hippo?
Oh, yeah.
An independent hippo with her own money?
You ever think of a hippo wearing one of those, like, graduation caps?
Yes. Dreams can be influenced by the environment around them, such as smells, drug use before dreaming, or physical sensations like cold or hunger.
This is where my nightmare bathroom comes in.
Or in your case, needing to pee.
The nightmare bathroom. Should I talk about it? Should I say what it is? Think of the worst restroom you've ever used. Now imagine that the door is missing, and it's in a crowded place. And also you have to wedge yourself into, like, a washing machine? I don't know, it's a nightmare bathroom. It doesn't make sense. It's just horrible.
Is it always the same every time?
No, it's always different. Always worse
but
and
horrible.
more nightmarish each time. And then eventually I wake up and have to go potty.
We're going to get into dream interpretation later, so let's come back to this nightmare bathroom and see what we can determine about your psyche from the fact that you have nightmare bathroom dreams. It probably is just your body being like, Lily, you gotta pee. And it's serious.
Yeah, it's probably related to the pee anxiety.
I read this study about they made people smell roses while dreaming, and they had positive dreams. And then another group had to smell rotten eggs while dreaming, and their dreams were more negative.
Maybe that's why I have nightmares all the time.
Speaking of drug use, your body produces a hallucinogen naturally while your brain is sleeping. I'm going to try to say the name. It's dimethyltryptamine. Well, that wasn't that hard. Otherwise known as DMT.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't have to do DMT straight from the frog. You just have to go to sleep.
Oh, thank goodness. I was worried I would have to.
Yeah. Common knowledge about dreams is that, yes, the faces you see in dreams are faces you've seen before in real life. I don't know how they determine that, but I saw it in multiple different sources.
Wow.
18% to 38% of people say they've experienced at least one precognitive dream, aka a dream where they predicted the future.
Oh, I've had a couple of those.
Yeah?
I wish they were more interesting, though. They were all super mundane things.
Like what happened?
Sitting by a lake and seeing a boat go by.
70% of people have reported having deja vu from a dream.
How is that different from the precognitive dreaming?
I don't know. You're asking a lot of really great questions, and I love that about you. I thought I did so much research.
You did.
I researched for like 6 hours.
You did a lot of research. I just...
Yeah, what would be the difference between something being determined to be precognitive and deja vu? I guess deja vu would be more like the sensation that you've experienced something before, whereas a precognitive dream is like more definite.
Like I've actually seen this versus, wow, maybe I've seen this.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
Okay.
Do animals dream?
I've seen when the doggies are laying on their side and they're kicking their feet and they're barking.
Yeah, it's like really common to see a dog like dreaming and you're like, oh, he's chasing rabbits in his dreams. Because they're like, ruff, ruff, and they're kicking their little feet.
Uh-huh.
Super cute. We're unable to prove it because most dream studies are reliant on verbal reports.
And most dogs don't talk.
Most dogs don't talk, they keep their dreams to themselves. Most of the stuff I've read said that definitively animals do dream, but I've also read other detractors who say that since we have no way of proving it, we can't say it definitely. We do know that all land animals and birds have REM sleep. I know you're going to ask about our lizard. Reptiles have phasic sleep, like ours, where they have different phases of sleep, but they don't exactly have REM sleep. They don't have the right kind of activation.
Is that because they don't have a prefrontal cortex?
And they just don't have enough brain structures to have REM sleep. That doesn't mean that they don't dream. We have no way of knowing. Another interesting thing is that for aquatic mammals that have unihemispheric sleep, meaning one half of their brain shuts down and then the other half of the brain keeps swimming when they sleep.
Oh,
Did you not know about that?
no.
One half of their brain stays active so that way they don't just sink.
Oh, That makes a lot of sense. I just assumed that they just kind of found a shallow spot to rest.
Nope. So we're unable to tell if they dream. I feel like dolphins might, because dolphins are really intelligent.
Yeah. They're so smart. I mean, they're the ones that are gonna get to leave Earth before it's destroyed, right?
Yeah, so long and thanks for all the fish.
Mm-hmm.
But no way of knowing, because they don't say anything except for swear words in SpongeBob cartoons. The last commonly known fact about dreams that I have is that all people dream. Even the people who insist that they never dream, they just simply don't remember their dreams. This one, I actually looked up how they know that for sure. There was this really interesting study only in 2015, so very recent. It was a study of Parkinson's patients, and they do not have REM atonia. So they do not immobilize during REM sleep. So there were these patients that insisted that they had never had a dream in their life. But during their REM sleep, they were observed talking, moving, acting out dreams, having arguments. So they do dream, they just never remember it upon waking.
Wow.
I think we all know someone like that who has said that they've never had a dream.
Yeah, we used to live with one.
Yeah, but they do. They just never remember it. There are a couple different theories about why we dream. According to Darwinian evolution, it should be advantageous for us to have dreams in order for us to have it.
That makes sense. Oh, I get what you're getting at. Yeah.
We have a bunch of different theories about what the advantages to dreaming might be, or what the purpose of it is, or what the causes of dreams are. REM sleep was only discovered in 1953 by Kleitman and Aserinsky with an EEG. So the study of REM sleep and dreams is very recent.
That's interesting because people have been dreaming for a long time.
Oh, we're going to get to historical context of dreams.
Did no one just look at someone while they were asleep and see their eyes moving back there? I mean, they had to have.
Yeah, they had to have noticed that people's eyes move a lot. It's possible that dreaming is just a byproduct of REM sleep and it's not actually advantageous. It's just REM sleep is advantageous, dreams happen during it, and that's that. REM sleep does seem to be crucial because animals that are allowed to sleep but not allowed to get into the REM stage will die.
Oh.
Sleep is strongly related to memory consolidation. There is this hypothesis called the dual process hypothesis, where non-REM sleep helps with declarative memory, and REM sleep helps with procedural memory. Declarative memory is your ability to declare things that you've remembered, say things that you might have to remember for a history test, and then procedural memory is your ability to do things that you've remembered, like the ability to play the piano.
Oh, okay.
I didn't look that up, I just remember that from college. Detractors of this theory point out that SSRIs, depression medication, suppress REM sleep and don't seem to impair memory. There's a proposition by Mitchison and Crick in 1983 that the brain prunes pathways during REM sleep to make the brain more efficient. You're going to like this. They call it unlearning.
Oh, I do that all the time, constantly. I unlearn.
And then dreams are just a byproduct of evaluating these associations that are no longer needed in the brain. Taking out the trash.
Oh. It's your brain has to follow these neural pathways in order to know which ones to get rid of?
Yeah, it has to assess them, and by assessing them, you think about them, and then that appears in your dreams. This is their theory. I don't know if that's true.
Okay.
There are other theories. There's one by Hartman from 1995. He proposed that dreams allow the dreamer to process trauma in a safe environment without cause of harm to the physical body.
Oh, because your body typically can't move during a dream?
Mm-hmm. There's a theory by Revon Suo in the year 2000 called the threat simulation hypothesis. More of an evolutionary thing. It's that dreams replicate physical and social threats and allow the dreamer to practice.
So then, if you do experience that threat in real life,
you'll have more experience. Yeah. The last theory I have here is by Eagleman and Vaughn. It's from 2021, very recent. It's called the defensive activation theory, and this one plays on the theory of neuroplasticity, that your brain is constantly changing and evolving and pruning. So the theory is that if the occipital lobe, or In other words, the lobe in the back of your brain that controls vision, among other things. If the occipital lobe is not active during sleep, other brain functions will take over that area and it will weaken visual ability.
Oh, man.
It's like your own parasite. I included a section on dreams across histories, religions, and cultures just for you, the sociologist.
Ooh, yes.
You're gonna love this. So, historically, in ancient times, largely dreams were viewed as access to truths from the gods. Ancient Egyptians would try to induce dreams by sleeping on special beds.
Like in Animal Crossing.
Oh my god. Is Animal Crossing a religion?
Feels like it sometimes.
And Tom Nook is our god. Dreams are a major plot point in the Epic of Gilgamesh. It was at first an oral tradition or a verbal story that then got codified and put into a book, so it's hard to pin down exactly when it was written, but it was at least thousands of years BC. In Hinduism, dreaming is one of the 3 states of the body. The others are waking and sleep.
Oh, so dreaming is considered separate from sleep.
Mm-hmm. There are Hindu texts that predate 300 BCE that describe 2 different meanings of dreams, either as expressions of inner desires or as the soul leaving the body and being guided on a journey until awakening. This theory of dreams being expressions of inner desires is still a commonly held belief. I have a quote from Taoist literature from around the 3rd century BC. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm going to do it bad. Once Chongcho dreamed that he was a butterfly. He fluttered about happily, quite pleased with the state he was in, and knew nothing about Chuangcho. Presently he awoke and found that he was very much Chuangcho again. Now, did Chuangcho dream that he was a butterfly, or was the butterfly now dreaming that he was Cho?
Ooh. Ooh. I like that.
I knew you would love that. I had to include it. I didn't find much else about like Taoist beliefs around dreams, but I knew you would like that story.
I like that very much.
In ancient Judaism, dream interpretation was used to receive messages from the one God and to learn lessons. Prophets would receive instructions in their dreams, and Joseph famously interpreted a pharaoh's dream, predicting 7 years of prosperity and 7 years of famine.
Was this Joseph with his Technicolor dream coat?
Yeah, this was after the coat was stolen.
Oh, okay.
But yeah! Oh my goodness, look at you!
He got thrown down a well, right?
Yeah, I think so. Or just a hole by his brothers. In early Christianity, similar to Judaism, dreams were considered as divine. In Islam, dreams are the only way to get instructions from God after the death of the Prophet Muhammad. There are 3 types of dreams in Islam: the true dream, which is from God, the false dream, which is evil, and then the meaningless dream. Islam also corroborates the story of Joseph and his distinct ability to interpret dreams. In medieval times, a Muslim scholar named an alim who could interpret dreams. If you were having distressing dreams, you could go to this scholar for dream interpretation. In Islam, nocturnal emissions are not considered a sin.
Oh, great!
And they do not count as breaking your fast during fasts like Ramadan or other religious fasts.
That makes sense because it's something that you physically cannot control.
Yeah, in other religions, like I found scripture in Jewish texts that do condemn wet dreams or nocturnal emissions. But in Islam, it's totally fine. The only thing is that you must bathe thoroughly before reading the Quran or having formal prayers. Regular prayers are fine. So if you have a wet dream, you just have to take a shower, and then God's okay with it.
Sick. I feel the same way. So are these nocturnal emissions where the idea of an incubus or succubus having sex with someone while they're asleep comes from?
Yeah, I read about that in medieval times. That was the commonly held belief, is that an incubus came to you in the middle of the night. Or succubus.
Sounds like just a way to blame someone else for your body's natural processes.
We have no way of proving that incubus and succubus don't cause wet dreams, to be honest. You're giving me that face. How would you prove it?
How would you prove it?
In Buddhism, the Buddha can have the same dreams that a previous Buddha had. They are connected.
Oh, that's really cool.
Super cool. In Greek mythology and philosophy, the god of dreams Morpheus would deliver warnings and prophecies in the dreams. They thought that the god would physically come down from the heavens and visit you in your dreams. Other gods would also visit mortals in dreams. Antiphon from the 5th century BCE believed that dreams were from the soul leaving the body, kind of similar to like the Hindu idea. Hippocrates, the father of medicine.
Hippocrates.
His name is Hippocrates? It's not. It's Hippocrates.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Is he the one that HIPAA is named for?
HIPAA is an acronym.
No, I mean the Hippocratic Oath.
Yeah. Jesus. Hippocrates used dream interpretation in medical diagnoses. He had this theory, for example, if you dreamed that a star was high in the sky, then you were going to have medical problems with your head. If you dreamed that the star was low in the sky, you were going to have medical problems with your bowels.
What if there are a lot of stars and they're all over?
You're dying. Actively dying.
Oh, I have bad news.
The Greek thinker Herodotus believed that dreams were a manifestation of the day's troubles, a theory that is still commonly held.
That one makes the most sense.
North American indigenous groups may believe that their dreams are visits from ancestors. I can't say that all North American indigenous groups believe this, but it's very common. Dreams can be a part of a vision quest, which is a rite of passage in some indigenous groups. Dream catchers are well-known objects that are known to protect against nightmares.
Have you ever had one?
Yeah, my dad had one.
I had one in my room as a kid.
You had one in your dorm, too.
Oh, that's right! I forgot that was the same one. I got it in New Mexico as a kid.
Do you still have it?
I don't know.
56% of modern Americans believe that their dreams provide insight into their unconscious beliefs. We're going to get into dream interpretation.
Ooh, great.
So remember your nightmare bathroom.
Yes.
Let's see what we can discover. We're going to have to talk about Freud.
Oh,
I'm going to keep it brief.
Again.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it brief. Freud wrote a lot of literature about dreams. He believed that dreams were the royal road to the unconscious. So dreams are a way for you to determine what your unconscious desires are. He did a lot of dream interpretation in his work. I'm not interested in it. I wrote a lot here about Jungian dream interpretation because it is still practiced by a lot of psychoanalytic providers. So if you ever get dream interpretation from a therapist, it's likely to be Jungian dream interpretation. Carl Jung was a student of Freud, but he differed with him on many different points, and they had a bit of a falling out.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Freud was largely known to be unlikable.
He still is.
Before I talk about Jungian archetypes, I want to mention the Jungian collective unconscious. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's this concept that there's a universal experience of humanity, that there are similar themes and ideals across a variety of different cultures, that people have very similar experiences, even though the details of their cultural and societal values might differ. We all have similar experiences. We all grow up, many of us have children, all of us die. The Jungian archetypes occur in dreams or literature across different cultures. His 4 main dream archetypes were the persona, the shadow, the anima/animus, and then the self. The persona is how you present yourself to the world. Masks you might wear around others, and how you maintain your primitive urges within yourself in order to fit into society.
I see.
The shadow is the repressed side of the psyche, with instincts of sex and life. It is instincts that are unacceptable to personal values or societal values, such as greed, prejudice, hate, or violence. The shadow in dreams often is represented as something that is some kind of symbol that is commonly vilified. A demon, a snake.
Like Shadow the Hedgehog.
Christ.
Sorry. It's been too long since I talked about Sonic.
I know! You like this one. The anima, or animus, is referring to the collective unconscious having rigid gender roles across different cultures and societies. So the anima is the feminine image in a male, or the feminine qualities within a male, And then the animus is a masculine image in a female psyche, or masculine qualities in women.
And how is that spelled?
Anima is A-N-I-M-A, and animus is A-N-I-M-U-S.
Cool, thank you.
So seeing the anima or animus in your dream represents the qualities of another gender that you feel you must repress within yourself in order to fit into your gender. I have no idea how that would fit for non-binary folk or transgender people, but it'd probably be pretty interesting.
I'm still confused as to... So you see, like, say a masculine version of yourself?
As I understand it, it's just a masculine image. It doesn't have to be yourself.
Okay.
For you, it would be a masculine image. For a man, it would be a feminine image. The combined anima, animus, is known as the syzygy, or the divine couple.
Syzygy?
You know what a syzygy is?
No.
It's spelled S-Y-Z-Y-G-Y.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, yeah,
I like that.
that's an SAT word. I believe it's some kind of like union, completion.
I see.
And then the last dream archetype is the self, the unconscious and conscious self. Jung believed that if you had disharmony between your conscious and unconscious desires, it led to psychological problems. So if you had disharmony between your self in your dreams, it was indicative of psychological problems. In Jungian theory, you are differentiated or individuated at infancy from your mother. An infant is born believing that they are one unit, one being with their mother, and at some point you realize that you are individual from your mother.
Okay.
Cool, right?
Yeah.
There are 12 dream archetypes pointed out by Jung, but there have been many described since then. I'm only going to do the 12. The ruler, the creator, the sage, the innocent, the explorer, the rebel, the hero, the wizard, the jester, the everyman, the lover, and the caregiver.
The sun, the moon, the devil, the tower. I like the idea of the jester, but I'm more curious about the wizard. Who is he?
So the wizard is an archetype that is found in dreams or literature across different cultures. He will look different depending on the culture, but he's something that's a part of the collective unconscious that is known across different cultures to have the same role. You may call him a shaman, a healer, a witch, but it's an archetype that is a universal human knowledge.
That's super cool. And the jester, the mime, the clown, the silly boy.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So 75% of recurring dreams are negative. There are recurring dreams that are positive, but the negative ones just have a little bit more kick to them, so people remember them a bit more.
That makes sense.
Recurring dreams can be symptoms of unresolved anxiety, trauma, chronic stress, depression, PTSD, or just plain existing as a human.
Have you ever had recurring dreams?
Usually the one where I'm late. The one where I wake up, I'm like 3 hours late to work, and I'm trying to get to my phone so I can call my boss, or I'm trying to like get dressed, or I'm trying to get there, and nothing is working out, and I'm just getting later and later.
And it's always the same dream? The same situations, the same job? Or...
No. I'm late to something.
I used to have this dream. This is gonna sound silly. But I used to have this dream, and I'd have it like once a month for like a while, where I was at my elementary school, and there was a bull with fire for horns.
Wow.
They were little though. He was a young bull.
Okay.
And he would chase us around.
That's interesting.
Oh, it was terrifying.
I wonder what that could represent. Maybe the bull is the shadow? Or the bull, because it's male, could be the animus?
Or maybe it's just a bad dream.
Common themes in recurring dreams are powerlessness, lack of safety, distrust, or shame.
So I was ashamed of the bull and his stupid little fire horns.
It sounds like a really cool image, though.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Were you scared of him?
Oh, he was terrifying.
Oh, boy. Okay. Common recurring dreams are falling endlessly, being chased, attacked, or otherwise unable to defend yourself, reverting back to school many years after you've left education.
Oof.
I've had those.
Yeah.
Ones where I'm like a grown adult and I have to go back to high school chemistry.
Yeah.
Being unprepared for an important event, such as not studying for a test. Flying uncontrollably. Sounds interesting. I don't know how they would differentiate that from falling uncontrollably. Arriving late to an event or appointment. For me, it's not that I arrive late, it's that I wake up, I'm late, and I can't get there.
Yeah. You're like 3 hours away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just stressing out more and more. Being stuck with no escape. Stuck in a room or something. Losing control of a car. This is a common nightmare for me. A car going off the edge, and then as it hits the water, I wake up.
Oh man. I have dreams where I'm driving, and as soon as I think, man, I'm like really close to this cliff, that's when I go over. I hate it. I hate it.
Cars never work in my dreams.
You ever have to like drive from the back seat?
Yes!
Yeah. It's always my dad used to have this truck. Actually, it was the first vehicle I ever drove, but I was so scared that I would have to drive it at some point, and like it's always that same black Dodge Ram in my dreams.
I'd be scared to drive that truck too. I have dreams where I'm like flooring the gas or pounding the brake and nothing's happening.
Oh, awful.
Cars never work in my dreams. And then the last common recurring dream is losing teeth.
My teeth?
I've never had that one, but it is super common.
That's terrifying.
And then nightmares. Nightmares are distinct from bad dreams in sleep studies because you can have a bad dream, but you stay sleeping. Not a nightmare. A nightmare means that you have a bad dream and you wake up.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's distinguished that way in sleep studies.
Okay.
Waking up from a nightmare can come with physical symptoms such as an increased heart rate, sweating, anxiety, fear.
Yeah, I get that racing heart some nights.
Mm-hmm. Nightmares are most common for people in ages 3 to 6, and they decrease with age. There is a mental health disorder called nightmare disorder. It's when your nightmares affect your daily life, affect your ability to sleep, make you afraid to go to sleep, and if they're more than once a week, you should probably talk to a doctor.
That in and of itself is very scary.
There are therapies and medications that can help with excessive nightmares, as well as lucid dream training.
Oh.
So training someone how to control their dreams, so that way they can control their nightmares. Lucid dreams are where the dreamer becomes aware that they are dreaming, and often are able to control their dream, but not always. A lucid dream just means that you are aware.
I've had quite a few of those.
Yeah. Whenever I have a lucid dream, I realize I'm in a dream, I'm like, hell yeah, start to fly. I fly. I never quite fly, I just take huge mile-high jumps, because I still have gravity.
I figured it out one time.
Yeah.
And then Eminem also started flying and was chasing me. It was terrifying.
Eminem as in the
Marshall
candy
Mathers.
or Marshall Mathers? That would be scary.
It was, oh yeah, the real Slim Shady, real scary.
Even though you were in control of the dream, you couldn't just snap him away?
Nope.
Lucid dreams have been described in ancient Hindu, Buddhist, and Greek texts, so they are not a recent phenomenon. 55% of people say that they have experienced a lucid dream at least once, with 23% saying it happened at least monthly.
I have them less than once a month, but if I have one, I'll have more within the next, 2 weeks.
I love to fly in lucid dreams. It is so exhilarating.
I don't know if I do or don't like having a lucid dream, though. I feel like I wake up more tired than usual.
I have had a lucid dream during a nightmare, where I have a nightmare, I realize it's a nightmare, and then I wake myself up. But I've also had a lucid dream during a nightmare where I could not wake up, where I felt like I was pounding against the inside of my skull cavity trying to wake myself up.
Sometimes I see you trying to wake up from nightmares.
That's sad.
Yeah. It's rare. Hardly ever happens, but...
But you can't wake me up because I'll be mad at you.
I do wake you up sometimes from that kind of thing. I've done it twice in the last 2 years. It's rare that I see that happen, but yeah.
When I was in high school, I used to scream in the middle of the night. I had sleep terrors.
That's awful.
I haven't had one in 10 years. The term lucid dreams was coined by Dutch psychiatrist Frederick Willem van Eden in 1913.
Van Eaton?
VAN space EEDEN. In a 1985 study, lucid dreamers were able to move their eyes in a predetermined pattern, signaling to the awake scientists that they were in control of the dream.
Wow! Oh my gosh, that's amazing to not only be able to control your dream, but also your eye movement.
Isn't that cool?
Wow. That is really cool.
There was a study conducted by Paul Tholey where he asked lucid dreamers to ask other figures of the dream to perform certain tasks to see how pliable other dream members were. Other persons within the dream were able to do verbal tasks but had trouble with basic arithmetic.
That makes sense. Numbers don't work in dreams very well.
Yeah, reading, clocks, numbers, phones.
You're trying to Google something in a dream,
Oh my god,
and
yeah.
all of your words are just going in there wrong.
It takes me like an hour and a half to text something in a dream.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
And that's when I should realize that it's a dream, but I never do.
That is a common thing for lucid dreamers to realize that they're in a dream, is that they look for a clock or look for words, and then when they see that words are indistinguishable or ineligible, they realize they're in a dream. There is research underway for people with nightmares to help them learn how to lucid dream in order to control their nightmares. It's not for everyone. It can be dangerous for people with psychotic disorders who have hallucinations or delusions to blur the lines of reality.
Oh, that makes sense.
Lucid dreams have higher levels of brain activity, which means less quality sleep. So even if you can lucid dream every night, you probably shouldn't. And then the last thing in this podcast is how to induce a lucid dream. There are a couple different methods. The first one is reality testing during the day as a habit, and then you will start reality testing during your sleep. So just when you are out and about in your day-to-day, trying to look around and determine if you're in a dream. Again, not recommended for people with psychosis.
Right.
But yeah, just as your day goes on, having a moment where you think to yourself, am I in a dream right now? How can I prove that I'm not?
Do you ever get that feeling? It's so weird.
No.
Like, oh my god, what if I'm asleep? What if none of this has actually happened?
I do kind of, because I have dreams where narratively the beginning of the dream starts with me waking up.
Oh.
And then I wake up from that. And then I wake up from that. And I'm still dreaming. And then when I wake up for real, I'm like, how do I know that this isn't still a dream?
Yeah. Wow. Man, that sounds...
And I feel super disoriented for like the first hour of being awake because I don't think it's real.
Well, maybe you should start trying that reality testing then.
Maybe. Other ways of training yourself to induce lucid dreams is the mild method. Mnemonic induction of lucid dreams.
Mnemonic, like a mnemonic device? Like,
yeah.
Please excuse my dope-ass swagger.
Not your dear Aunt Sally?
And my dear Aunt Sally.
Yeah, so the mild method is you just tell yourself to remember that you're dreaming next time you're asleep. And in conjunction with the wake back to bed, or WBTB method, you wake up after 5 hours of sleep, stay awake for 30 to 120 minutes, possibly even do the mild method, telling yourself, I'm about to go back to sleep. When I'm asleep, I'm going to remember that I'm dreaming, and then go back to sleep. And then lastly, you can keep a dream journal in order to recognize patterns in your dreams and make it easier to determine if you're dreaming.
Just like Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
That's all my research. I'm done. Good night.
Thank you for listening to Soft Serve Science. If you learned something, let us know. You can also find us on Instagram and YouTube at Soft Serve Science, or email us at softservescience@gmail.com. Stay frosty.